What's up, people? I am back. I was supposed to do this video yesterday, but I got caught up with stuff. But I'm doing. I guess today will be two. I'm doing this one, and then later it will be probably really later tonight. I will be doing my Ginger Snaps review. I'm probably gonna watch that right after this because it's on YouTube, so I'll watch it right after this video. But Phantasm 5 or Phantasm Ravager. Um, Basically all I can really say it's decent. It's an okay ending. It definitely feels really low budget at times, but it's fine overall. Like, and some of the characters like that you see later aren't the acting isn't the best, but like with Mike, it was cool seeing Jody towards the end. I thought that was cool. Seeing Anger Scrim, even though I would have liked more scenes with him, but I get it. This came out in like 2016, so he's probably much older. So they probably didn't want to use him too much. Like, he didn't even really have like a physical fight scene, But for what it was, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a decent ending. It tied everything up together. I liked some of the futuristic scenes. Yeah, some of the CGI looked awful, especially when they showed you like some. But it was cool seeing like the giant spheres and like there's even one a sphere that had like a bunch of spikes on it. I liked some of the different designs overall, and I liked some of the kills. Yeah, like it didn't like. I can get over the low budget, honestly. That doesn't make or break the movie for me. But it's a decent ending, so I definitely would recommend it. It ends the story fine. I still really like that they don't fully go into what the Tall Man is in all five of these movies. I kind of like that throughout the five films you have this mystery about him. So I think overall, I enjoy the franchise. Pretty solid franchise. I'm happy I decided to go and watch it. Probably my next big horror franchise will be Texas Chainsaw. I don't know when I'll start that. Maybe in a few weeks. But yeah. But besides that, I'm gonna kick off this review. Later, like I mentioned, I'll be reviewing Ginger Snaps. Haven't watched it in forever, but from what I remember really liking it. So but yeah. So the movie opens up. We see Reggie. You get kind of like a little bit of a rundown what's been going on in the past movies with Reggie narrating it, which I liked. And I really like the part where he basically talked about how the Tall Man took everything from it. Like, took his job as an ice cream man because he was just a normal ice cream guy. Took his friends Jody and Reggie. I mean Jody and Mike. Like they really tied everything together perfectly. So that was a cool little opening. And then we see Reggie just kind of walking through like the desert with his with a shotgun. But then because he mentions that his Barracuda, which is the car he's had throughout the four movies, was stolen. But then a guy who has it pops up. Initially acts like, "Oh, can you give me a ride?" But then gets his car back. And then the spheres show up and kill. One of them kills the thief, and then we get like a chase. Chases Reggie, but Reggie manages to escape. And then I like because there's a bit of like a time. There's like a couple time jumps. Like there's a scene where you see him in like a hospital, very old, like because he has like dementia, and Mike's with him. And then, so yeah, it does jump around a little bit, but it's not confusing. So then I guess back to like essentially the real world. Reggie meets this girl, who her car isn't working, so she takes him to her cabin, and he tells her about the tall man, but like she doesn't like believe him. Um, I'll admit they didn't need to do this scene, but like how in the other films Reggie always tries to hook up and is always unsuccessful. It was fine in the other. You didn't need to do it this time. It was almost forced. It was like we had to do it. So I think that'd be like the only thing. But I'll admit it does maintain that tone of those other movies. Then that same night, one of the um, then we see because he ends up back in the dream world, but now he sees Jebediah, which is Tall Man's original. Um, I love that. Like, I kind of love when Angers does Jebediah because he's a much different character, and then he morphs into the Tall Man. And this is like I think the first time you see him in this movie, and it's understandable. He's much older, so he probably can't like in the other four, where he did have like even in the fourth one, he did have like a physical scene. He didn't really have one in this, which is fine. They actually were able to make it work, and it's almost like the movie was essentially about Reggie himself, which I kind of like. They made it, even with like some of the bad acting. Yes, there are some scenes where some of the acting is not good. Um, and we see the lady in lavender, which is a callback to the earlier film, to the first film. So I like some of the callbacks. So now Reggie's waking up. He finds that the lady that picked him up is dead, or that he picked up is dead, being killed by the sphere. This is where he sees the farmhand that is mentioned by her, and then while they're having the conversation, the sphere kills the farmhand, and then Reggie manages to kill it. And then we get a scene between him and Mike in the hospital. I really do like the chemistry between him and Mike. Like, they still have it, and it's the same actor. I'm happy they used the same actors throughout these films. And it's crazy that these movies, 5 films, and it's only really been 3 characters: Reggie, Mike, and Jody. Like, they're the only real 3. Like, yeah, there's like I think 3 had like a couple extra characters, but a lot of the other ones, it was just those 3, really. And I kind of like that how they were able to make that work. Just a film about these 3 characters, mainly Reggie, because he's like, especially towards the last, like between 4 and this one, I would say he's definitely like more the focus. And then we get a shot of the giant sphere with a Tall Man, which that was a cool shot. There's a lot of cool imagery, even though, yeah, like I said, we could talk about, yeah, the CGI didn't look good, but whatever. The imagery itself, just the giant sphere, was cool. And then they have another scene, and the Tall Man basically offers Reggie a chance to see his family again, like see Jody and Mike again, if he basically just backs off, and Reggie refuses. Then we kind of we're close to pretty much like the last act of the film. Where we see the lady in lavender. She tries to attack him, and then she kills her. Then the Tall Man appears again and basically tries to offer Reggie the deal again, like basically back off and we'll give you your family back. Reggie refuses again, and then he puts them, like, this gives them this imagery of this nightmare world. It's like basically where the Tall Man is fully taken over. This is where you see a lot of the different spheres, like that was the spiky one that I mentioned earlier. That was kind of cool. see a group of these people that they're basically like the resistance, and it turns out like that girl Dawn you saw earlier is actually this character, and they think he's crazy. And this is where I was really talking about a lot of the bad acting comes in. They don't really pull it off, but it doesn't pull the movie down or anything for me, because a lot of times they get killed pretty quick, and we even see like even like just people in like these gas masks that are with the tall man, which are pretty cool. So I like that. Granted, in a newer movie, one thing that does make it good is that some of the technology gets better, and it was cool to see like a different like kind of like the people with the tall man. I like those fucking gas mask guys. Like a lot of the imagery was cool. Um, then this is where we get a scene where we see Mike reunite with like for real reunite with Reggie, um, and basically talk about what he's been doing since '98, which was the last film. Um, so like it kind of goes in between this dream world and the real world. Back in the dream world, Reggie's trying to be sent back to the hospital, like back to like his room. Um, Um, so we get the reveal that there's still a connection to the tall man, which is kind of cool. And that basically this is how they kind of explain the whole hell world or, nightmare world where the dark tall man is taken over. And this is where we get Jody showing up in the Barracuda fighting. That was cool though. Seeing Jody come back, like, that was cool. And then basically, and then Reggie seemingly dies in the back in the dream world, and Jody and Mike are there. And the film ends that way. I think, to me, that is a perfect ending to this franchise. I like that we truly have never known what the tall man is. Throughout these 5 films, we don't know what he is. He's this, for the most thing we know is he's this crazy entity, and I like it, that takes over and sends things to another dimension. That is the most we know. But throughout the 5 films, I like that we followed these 3 characters. They were able to make this like jumping in between the nightmare world, like the regular world, or the current world, and then the dream world. They did a good job of jumping in between and not feel confusing. Yeah, some of the acting wasn't great, especially when we were in the nightmare world, but I can get over it. I can get over how a lot of low budget is. If you can be an enjoyable film, I can get over a lot of that shit. So overall, it's a pretty good movie. I think it ends it fine. Phantasm, I think, so I gotta say it's a consistent franchise. I don't think there's one bad entry. This is probably the weakest, but I wouldn't say bad. It's a bad movie though. I would probably give this movie like a 7.5 out of 10. I enjoyed it. There were some decent kills in there. I liked the look of the nightmare world. These giant spheres, the orange kind of lighting or coloring. But yeah, overall, decent movie. I definitely recommend the Hellraiser, the Phantasm franchise. This is a franchise I should have got into probably a long time ago, especially being the horror fan I am. But thankfully, I finally have. And I've seen all the movies now, so definitely can, and I can probably watch them all again, like all of them. I would probably mainly watch the first one, but I could definitely watch the others. So pretty good franchise. So, um, uh, pretty much that's it. 7 out of 10. This movie. Tomorrow I will be doing. Not tomorrow. Later tonight I will be doing ginger snaps. I don't know what time tonight. It'll probably be like late tonight, but sorry about that. It'll be later tonight sometime. But But other than that, yeah. But peace out and talk to y'all later. As usual. Ginger Snaps video later tonight. Fuck Joe Biden. Fuck Kamala Harris. Peace.